Football is a violent game played by gladiators on a frozen tundra. Welcome to the Red Zone Challenge Expert Picks, brought to you by Firestone Walker Brewing Company, featuring so-called experts Jeff Kingman.
For the second week in a row, you're asking the question, should I really watch this Thursday night game?
Jeremy West.
I have never picked against the Seahawks. You did once, and it bit you in the ass.
And Allie, the full-time Firestone Walker beer guy. Part-time degenerate gambler.
This is one of those ones I'm like, do I really need to watch football on Thursday night, or should I stay good on my wife's list here?
Who will experience 80 ounces in hell? Find out with this week's picks in the Red Zone Challenge, presented by Firestone Walker Brewing Company in Paso Robles. Oh, man!
Hello.
Give me a drink!
Hello, Ali. How's it going?
Good. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. So, I got a little something for you. It's a little present. It speaks volumes to what this is today. I don't know. You might be too young to know. To remember the soothing sounds.
Just the two of us?
Yeah, Grover Washington Jr. Hey, buddy, we can make it if we try, okay?
We're going to make it.
Yes.
We're going to make this podcast happen here.
Yes. I'm sorry for the late timing on this, which if you're listening to this podcast, that doesn't have any bearing to why you're listening to the podcast, except for the fact that podcast times wait for no man, and I was trying to get a hold of Jeremy because we never really discussed before he went on vacation in Mexico, of all places.
What?
What the plan was for today. So I just assumed that, okay, I'll email him the games. He'll probably send an email back. He has not sent an email back. So
Is that a guarantee zero for him then for the week?
I don't know. I don't think that's fair to do the guarantee zero. I was thinking maybe we should just go with Vegas favorites for Jeremy. Because, if you err on the side of Vegas, more than often you're going to win, and that's fair, right?
Well, the good thing is we're not doing a Thursday night game, so as long as he got his picks in before before Sunday, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah. Except for this is record. These are picks of record, though. Once they go on the podcast, they're on the record.
That is true. I've looked at the record before and sometimes seen them pick the different game just for the internet. So
yeah, he does play that a little bit differently than when he does in the Experts Challenge.
He's shifty.
Yes,
the shifty character.
Well, you could change your picks last minute in the Red Zone Challenge.
It's true.
Which is part of the greatness of the Red Zone Challenge, because people are actually trying to win a trip to Vegas and $500 and not trying to pour beer down their friend's gullet. This is where we sit right now, okay? You and Jeremy are tied atop the leaderboard. So I got to get clearance from you, of all people, first. Are you okay with him going Vegas favorites this week?
Yeah, I am. Okay. I'm fine with that.
Okay.
If we want to do that, that's fine. If he wants to get his picks in, too, we could also do that. But however you want to play it, I'll play it.
All right. And then we will go. And then I am 4 games behind you guys. You guys both turned in a 4-win performance in week 9. I turned in a 1-win performance. And that's because we all got the Raiders right.
Yes.
We all got the Raiders. Barely. We all barely got the Raiders right in that one. Okay, so we're going to go to the picks this week, and we're just going to start off right now with Minnesota, and they are a half-point favorite at Washington. Jeremy will pick first because he's going with all Vegas favorites. Obviously, Minnesota is what he's going with. You're next, Ali.
I'm also going to go with Minnesota here. I haven't watched a ton of Minnesota. I'm a little worried about betting on Case Keenum, but I thought that Washington game was a little fluky. Obviously, you're a Seattle fan, so you saw your kicker blow like four field goals.
It was 3, but still. Yes.
Was it 3? Yeah, okay. That's enough.
Still, that's 9
enough.
points. That's 9 points off the board.
Exactly.
And we lost by 3, so you do the math.
Yeah, Minnesota's got a good D. I haven't watched a ton of Minnesota this year, but I'm just going to take them. They seem like the better team. Okay. How about yourself?
This is at Washington, and Washington's defense looks good. Now, this is probably going to be Case Keenum's last game. I saw today that the Vikings have placed Samuel Bradford on season-ending IR due to his struggles, and probably career-ending IR for that matter.
That's bad.
But Teddy Bridgewater has been activated onto the roster for the Minnesota Vikings. Interesting. Now you're going to hear the footsteps if you're Case Keenum. When are they going to incorporate? The Teddy Bridgewater eventually is going to be the starting quarterback. Do you get there sooner or do you get there later? Is the question that you're asking. Case Keenum is going to play this week. A lot of people are hurt for the Minnesota Vikings. I mean, for the Washington Redskins. I don't know which way to go on this one because I got to gain points on you. This is always the conundrum I'm going to be up against until I can close the gap.
Go deeper in the hole. I like it. That beer bong keeps getting bigger and bigger.
I'm going to go with the Washington Redskins. I've been picking them all along, except for last week when nobody picked them because it was not that big. But I've been picking them all along. I'm going to go with Washington. I'm staying in that dying fire that is the Washington Redskins. Plus, they need to win. The New York Jets. They are a 2-point favorite on the road against Tampa Bay. Jeremy will be taking the Jets for the second week in a row. A difference maker last week in Thursday Night Football for him. Ali. Tampa Bay, New York Jets. Who do you like?
I'm also taking the Jets. What's the quarterback? Okay, all of a sudden I'm having a brain fart.
It is Jameis Winston.
Jameis Winston, yeah. Winston's out. Mike Evans is suspended also. So that team seems like they're frustrated. And a dumpster fire. Jets looked really good last week. I was really surprised if you watched that Buffalo game from earlier this year when they played the Jets versus that game, it was like the exact opposite. So I'm taking the Jets too on this. I think they're a decent team, and they won another win. So
I too am going to take the Jets on this one, but the one thing that I'm going to throw out there, if anybody's listening to this podcast, is the revenge factor. It actually sneaks in big time in this game because of Ryan Fitzpatrick. And he gets the start against his former team that let him go. Now, I don't think he's a kind of guy that holds a grudge. He seems like a guy that goes out and just does his job, to be honest with you. So I don't know, but there's a two-headed revenge factor on this one. Everybody's talking about the Ryan Fitzpatrick thing, but if you remember correctly, the tight end for the New York Jets used to be a Tampa Bay Buccaneer. He started his career with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and they let him go because he had some DUI troubles, and that's Austin Seferian-Jenkins. Yeah. I think that he could have a big game in this one, and I think that Ryan Fitzpatrick could have a big game for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, but I think they'll be playing from behind. This is more for fantasy purposes that I'm even having this discussion. I think the Jets will win this one easy going away. The New Orleans Saints are interesting enough, 2.5-point favorite on the road in Buffalo, a team that you and I both liked last week because the addition of Kelvin Benjamin, who never saw the playing field. Yeah. This seems to be one of the more interesting games. Again, New Orleans is playing out of their mind right now. Somehow they went from being like one of the worst defenses to one of the best defenses.
I like the addition of that new running back. God, what's his name?
Alvin Kamara.
Alvin Kamara.
Yeah.
He's been great. They got 2 running backs. They're kind of letting, they're slowing Breeze down from throwing a bit, which they definitely have a balanced offense where it used to just be Breeze hucking the ball. I like New Orleans in this game. I really want to see what Buffalo brings. There's a chance that Clay plays this week, and they're going to put Benjamin in this week. They got more weapons to throw to, so I could see Buffalo winning this at home for sure. But New Orleans they look good right now. Yeah, I think they're going to make the playoffs.
They do look really good right now. They probably will win that division, no question. I am going to go just with the home team just because I need to make up games. So I will go with Buffalo, and Buffalo has surprised on many occasions this year, and this has just got the script for the Buffalo Bills. They tend to play really well at home. Atlanta, 3-point home favorite against the Cowboys. I'm guessing this has something to do with Des Bryant for the most part, not being able to play.
And Zeke could possibly, they might uphold the suspension on Thursday as his hearing.
Yeah, that's not fair that we get to pick this game, that we have to pick this game prior to Thursday.
Yeah, I hear you on that. I think I've told you before I got Zeke on my fantasy team. So
you pay close attention.
I pay very close attention.
I'm going to ask you must have Charles Clay on your fantasy team too.
I do.
For you to drop that gem in this discussion, I was like, wait a minute. Where's this Clay thing coming from? I
do. I got Clay on my other fantasy team.
I got you.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and I'll take the Cowboys with or without Zeke. Atlanta, like you said earlier with the Tampa Bay game, Atlanta's a dumpster fire. They need to figure out how to get that QB, throwing plays that he's good at. It's like Matt Ryan all of a sudden, from what he did last year to where he is this year, it's night and day. I think it's a coaching thing, I want to say, over there with the loss of Shanahan.
Perhaps.
Something's off, and I don't see that team fixing it. I think Dallas is getting comfortable, and their offense looks better and better every week, where I was a little worried about them making the playoffs this year, and now I'm starting to feel like, no, they could actually do this and go somewhere, especially with no quarterbacks in the league right now. So I'll take Dallas.
Zeke will play this week, I think. And
I hope you're right.
And even if he does, even if he doesn't, I should say, I think that the automatic gut reaction from anybody following this game would be like, okay, Dez and Zeke might be out, or possibly are out, or if you're listening to this after Thursday, is out. Scratch that. Is in.
But
I will say this, that I think the replacements are just fine. The backups in Dallas are just fine. Bryce Butler's a good receiver. Terrence Williams, I know his injury. He was injured as well last week, but it's not as bad. Cole Beasley loves catching balls from Dak Prescott. I think the throwing game and the running game with Alfred Morris will still be in check. I think everything will be fine, even if Zeke and Dez don't play. And you're right, Atlanta is trying to find some kind of identity. And Kyle Shanahan, boy, that's a better offensive mind than everybody gave him credit for, I think. I mean, when you grow up with it in your family, because we're starting to see it now with Atlanta on the slide. I'll go with them boys as well, because Jeremy had to pick Atlanta, so I got to get a game. Get a game on him. All right, Jeremy's also going to have to be forced to pick the New York Giants because they are a 1-point favorite over the beloved San Francisco 49ers.
The two teams that gave up. I don't know who's watching this game. I think the Niners are just happy. They got Garoppolo. They're probably going to get a first-round pick, although their second-round pick now goes to New England. What are they playing for? There's nothing to play for right now.
I'll tell you who's watching this game. Sam Darnold of the USC Trojans is watching this game because he's like, I'm going to be playing for one of these teams next year. And it's going to be decided by who wins or loses today.
I think the Giants have, I don't even know if they have anything to play for, but they have a slightly better team going into this matchup. It is in Santa Clara, but I'll take the Giants. Yeah, I won't be watching this game. I'll tell you that.
I am not going to be watching this game either, but I'm going to go ahead and pick the San Francisco 49ers because I need games, and I'm sticking with them. Last week, they burned me. I picked them to beat the Arizona Cardinals, and they look bad against the Arizona Cardinals.
Oh, God. But yeah, real bad.
Arizona Cardinals, I got to believe, are a better team. Are they a better team than the New York Giants? I don't know. Here's the thing. I'm not a big believer in a team being able to go over. And if there's a chance for the Niners to sneak a win, it's home against the Giants. So I'm going to go with the law of averages on this one and say, okay, San Francisco 49ers get their first and maybe only win of the season in Santa Clara at Levi's Stadium this Sunday against the New York Giants.
What year did Detroit go 0-16?
It was not that long ago. It was. I want to say it was like 2008, 2009, perhaps. Maybe somewhere around there.
This team's definitely better than that Detroit team was, but
yeah. The thing that's frustrating if you're a Niners fan, which I'm not, but they've been really close in some games that they probably shouldn't have been close in against their opponents. Like that Washington game stands out. Like they had a chance to win that Washington game, on the road. So I mean, they're going to be able to get a victory, and I think this is their best chance at least. And I need to make up games. So, anyways, I want to know what was the one highlight of the anniversary party that took place on Saturday. I missed it. Sorry.
I didn't make the party either. I had to watch my kids. My wife was working that day, so I didn't make the party, but it looked fun in the pictures.
Was there anybody that worked there that embarrassed them? You don't name names. Please don't name any names. But they were a little bit more quiet and reserved on Monday, and
I didn't hear any of those stories. Okay. There normally is something like that going on, but I didn't hear any of those stories this year. So I think we're good.
Everybody's growing up.
Everybody is growing up. Yeah, back in the day, there would be more of those stories when we were younger, but.
What are we looking forward to next on the horizon up at the campus?
Well, so we just finished, and I've repeated this a couple times, but Dark and Stormy is coming out here in Black Friday, and I am going to talk to marketing about getting you guys some samples of Dark and Stormy and the Firestone Walker that we're doing our test run packaging of next week. But the Dark and Stormy was really cool because we Eric Ponce, who's the guy who runs our barrel program, he bought 5 roto peelers. I don't know if you know what those are, but they're for like potatoes or whatever, or apples. And he peeled a couple 100 pounds of limes just to get the lime peel. So I think it was like 150 pounds of lime, and he got 15 pounds of lime peel out of there.
Whoa.
That we steeped into the beer that came. So it's our Eldorado that we put into rum barrels, into Jamaican rum barrels, and then we put that in. We moved it into a tank. It's got a lot of rum character. Then we moved some of it over into another tank, and we steeped the lime peel in there cold for essentially 12 hours. We moved that beer back into the tank, blended it all together, and then we did the same thing with fresh ginger, and we put it into the tank and then moved it over. So it's pretty damn tasty.
Very Caribbean. Very Caribbean.
Caribbean. The Dark and Stormy. It's delicious. It's the first spice beer we've really made, and I think he knocked it out of the park with this. So I'm going to talk to Jamie. I'm going to get you guys some samples here in the next 2.
Is it like drinking a beer version of like a rum and coke?
Essentially, yeah. Dark and Stormy. A typical Dark and Stormy is ginger beer and a dark rum of some sort with a squeeze of lime in it. And normally you put the rum as a floater on top. So it's the beer version of that. I think this is going to be a winner in limited supply. And then we're also doing that lager here, which is done and is going to be packaged. And that's the other one. You might be beer bonging that sooner than later too. So.
Hey, we go all the way through the playoffs. I still got time, okay? I've been down more and have overcome more. It's just this week might be the nail in my coffin, okay? I'm holding out to 10.
It's amazing what the threat of a beer bong has done to me. I'm watching all these terrible games. I'm like, man, I do not want to lose this thing.
I know. There's lots of yelling going on Sundays in my house.
I'm worried more so than my bets most days.
I know. Because you know it's going to be on social media, and you know us dads, when we go back to college, it's not pretty.
Oh, no. And you think what the average stomach can hold liquid-wise? Well, that's not a good not a good thing.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you next week, Ollie. Thanks for joining us on the podcast, okay?
All right, Jeff.
Have a good one.
See you guys soon. All right, bye.